Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Golden Boot. I am one of your hosts tonight, George, a.k.a. the Real Hog Fan. Of course, we got Mr. Propellerhead himself, Chris Vandy Keenhold. Looky there. I figured it out.
You got it right.
Proud of you, bro. Proud of you.
I mean, you know, it is. I don't know why names just absolutely just go out of my mind. Anyway, we got the Tiger King himself. All you had to say was Missouri. Mr. Cody Slavinsky. Yeah, Mr.
What's up?
Savant. Savant himself. What's up, guys? What's been going on this week? Tell us what's been going on.
Work. Nothing else. Man, it's been a busy week. Oh, yeah. I'm so happy it's the weekend.
Same.
Did y'all happen to catch that Georgia State game last night?
Yeah.
I did not. I heard it was quite a game there for a while. I never
really
did hear
was.
how it ended up.
Yeah, I was very happy to see Georgia State pull it out last night. That was like my highlight of the week, pretty much, because it was it's just been just no fun. So
yeah,
I'm here. I'm ready to talk football.
I hear you there, Chris, and I know you've been working 10-hour shifts, right?
Yep.
That's
been
cute.
on fans all week. Got to work tomorrow as well.
Golly, man. Well, you're breaking into this already. Ooh, man, we can't get
Spoiler
into that
alert.
yet.
No.
Spoiler alert. No. I don't know. I have to think about that one for a minute. But no, same thing for me. Today has been, I say today. This week has been something else. Trying to get everything situated, get ready for this. I mean, this is the highlight of the week right here, right? We get on here and that's not a bad prediction. But we get to talk to you guys. And as always, I just want to tell you, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're watching from. Please, 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 it helps us out so much. If you like, share, follow, subscribe, whatever it is. Today we do have a new place that we're streaming on. We are streaming on Twitch, believe it or not.
Twitch, please.
Yeah. So if you're watching on Twitch, welcome to the Golden Boot family, the Golden Media Group family. We appreciate you guys so very much. And yeah, so I'm excited. I think today is going to be great. We got a lot to talk about. There's been a lot of stuff that's happened this week. And to recap for sure. We got a lot of really cool, good games that are coming up this weekend. Thank you very much, villains. I appreciate that very much. I can't do a heart. I'm so bad with my hands. I have like crab hands because my dexterity is so bad. So, I pick everything up like this. So anyway, you want to call me Mr. Krabs, you can do that. Anyway, but I think let's kick this thing off. Let's get into our icebreakers and let's get this thing going.
Who wants to go first?
Floor's open. Somebody go first.
I'm going to let you go first, George, because you said you want to do kind of a community conversation with the icebreakers.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Let's. Oh gosh.
Okay.
Listen. Okay.
Here we go.
Here's a great
Perfect
icebreaker.
segue.
Tony Thomas is a legend in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
I mean it. Every single podcast he's on, he's a phenomenal writer, and man, does he bring the hammer in the chat. I love it.
So
they're great.
Yeah.
There is a perfect segue to my icebreaker.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Tony, for bringing that up.
Bring me
so
on your
this
podcast.
week,
I don't know who you are, Facebook user.
There was a congressional hearing.
Yeah.
And it was done in the business and entrepreneurial subcommittee or whatever. The topic of this hearing was NIL.
Yeah.
And how do we move forward? The two main witnesses were Ohio State athletic director
Yep.
Gene Smith
Mm-hmm.
and TCU athletic director Jeremiah Donati.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Smith actually testified under oath that there are recruits now that are asking for appearance fees just to take official visits.
Oh, yeah.
That's not okay.
No.
Both Donati and Gene Smith have asked for Congress to work with the NCAA on reining in what has essentially turned into pay for play.
Yeah.
And has asked Congress to be the enforcement arm of the NCAA.
Yeah.
So currently there are 3 different proposals in Congress, and we shall see how it ends up. I thought it was an interesting story. People don't like Charlie Baker. My God, Charlie Baker's been on the job for 6 months.
Yeah.
He's not the one. He's not the one that created this mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, the Facebook comments, to address that real quick. If you're a Facebook user and you're in it, you have to allow StreamYard to see your comment. I can't exactly remember how to do it, but I believe there should be somewhere on there where it says allow StreamYard, and then the name will pop up. But yeah, that's an interesting topic, Chris. And I'd love to see comments in here about that. What are your guys' thoughts on the NIL? Is it a sustainable as the way it is, or do you guys think that we need to hear we need to have some reform? What do you guys think?
Absolutely need some reform. So I feel like it was just thrown on just all of a sudden.
Yep.
It's like, okay, free for all, have fun, do what you want.
Yep.
And then they didn't think of anything outside of, okay, players can get money now, but they didn't think anything past that.
Right.
So the fact that if I'm a high school senior that's, or a junior or whatever, and I'm being asked to go on an official visit, and I'm like, hey, I need 5 G's to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
no.
That's for an official visit. I mean, you're in essence saying you got to pay me to get you on, to get me on your campus. That's way over.
State of Alabama, that is against the rules. So it's like, a football prospect cannot be paid off any kind of name, image, likeness, or whatever while you're still in high school. And if that happens, they're suspended, like that you cannot play anymore.
Wow.
So it needs to be put in check everywhere, every state. They need to. I think it needs to start at the state level, for sure.
Colin, that's oh gosh, yes.
I'm
hear
glad
that
I know what everybody's talking about now. I'm very happy about it.
NIL needs rules, guardrails, bomb sniffing dogs, and a Delta Force contingent. Absolutely, Tony.
As long as that don't include F-35s in the state of South Carolina, we're all good on that.
Missouri's NIL is a night with Nelly and some cheap draft beer. Man, that sounds like a party.
I was about to say.
see, and that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
With NIL is you have 50 different laws regarding NIL right now.
Yeah, TJ,
that's not okay.
Yeah, can you put that? Yeah, it makes you think. How long have recruits been getting appearance fees? Exactly.
Absolutely.
No, I never even thought that was even a possibility until you just said that, Chris. How many coaches behind the scenes have been like, "Hey, we'll front you some money if you'll come to our school. Makes us look good. Come put your feet on campus."
That just makes me think about the McDonald's bags in Tennessee.
Right.
You got to be real. It was Chick-fil-A, not McDonald's. They went high dollar on it. They brought out the Jesus chicken.
Yeah, they did. They brought out the crucified chicken. Yeah.
I'll spit that over my.
I know. I said it that way for a reason. It's an interesting thing. To me personally, I don't think it's a sustainable. I don't think there is a way to keep it the way it is. We can't have a Texas A&M for the first time ever buy all of their players and have a number 1 recruiting class, and just get people on there that were paid to be on the field, and them not have anything to do with football. practically, because
Yeah.
to go 5-7 after having the number 1 recruiting class, that means all you had were kids that wanted to be there because of this. They didn't want to be on that field. They wanted to catch that money.
Absolutely.
These comments, man, y'all are
They
killing
lighten
the
it up tonight.
Light it up. If your coach's wife isn't all Jeremy prove it. Oh my gosh. I mean, you got a point. So yeah,
there were actually rumors at Tennessee about Pruitt's wife.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
You don't want to know what those rumors were, but there were rumors floating around.
Oh jeez. Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking, and now we're kind of going off the rails, but speaking of that, I heard Cam Akers, right, in the NFL was traded to the Vikings. The story on that is wild. It seems like the head coach, Sean McVay, the whole works better than mute off. I don't know who's muted. But the whole story behind that, speaking of somebody's wife, is apparently the rumor is whoever says that his wife is hot gets booted from the team and traded immediately. And supposedly Cam Akers said that, and 2 weeks later it was, oh no, we're all in on Cam Akers, and then 2 weeks later it's like, yep, we're trading you to the Vikings. So
I mean, honestly, they haven't done anything in the NFL really, so
it's kind of interesting. Cody, what you got today?
well, I don't know now.
I mean, well, I know we kind of went off the rails.
My brain just went like completely.
I'm just going to preface this real quick.
Jesus,
If
Mary and Joseph.
People
Tony.
don't have access to some of our private chats between some of our people here.
No,
and,
some of these are inside jokes.
Yeah, very inside jokes.
And listen,
they are absolutely gold.
They're sabotaging us. People who watch us and aren't in our little college football dogs group. They're sabotaging us because they're trying to throw us off our game, and that's fine. I love it. But I'm sure people are out there going, "What the heck are they laughing? What is this?" Oh man, I love it. I love you guys. Y'all are awesome. Okay, well I think here's the thing. There's my wife. She jumped in here. Okay, so here I think we collectively need to talk about something. That's the title of today's show. We need to talk about the elephant in the room. Where does the mighty SEC stand after this? We're walking into week 4, and they don't look as dominant as they have before. They definitely haven't been as dominant. They definitely have not won games that they should have. So I'd love for us to collectively touch on, what we think is the next step for the NCAA or for the SEC, and also what specifically needs to be done to get that domination again. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Start.
So before that, I want to answer that question.
What question was that? I didn't even see it.
Tony popped up a question about who doesn't beat Vanderbilt.
Oh,
well,
Lord.
Let me give you some reference. In football, baseball, basketball, and men's basketball, there are currently 2 teams in the SEC that have lost the most recent game to Vanderbilt. That would be Arkansas and Kentucky.
Oh, God, stop.
A third school has lost 3 of those games.
Florida.
That would
right?
be Florida.
I was about to say.
So,
Second to the
I
pack.
mean,
yeah.
Go ahead, George.
Play it. Somebody play it. Somebody play it. Oh, crazy your full of shit. Yeah, I think
your wife even taking shots
I
at
know,
me.
She's going to. She's a plant, right? Thank you, TJ. Woo pig. But it's just interesting to me. The Pac-12 is in dire straits, right? They're on life support. Everybody thinks it. Everybody says it. There's only it's not going to be the Pac-4 next year until they make moves. because everybody's leaving, and yet they are dominating practically everything they're in. And they went 13-0 in their first flurry of games. I mean, is that something we've ever seen with the Pac-12?
I mean,
first of all, you got to look at the strength of schedule.
Pac-2, yeah.
Okay, so not even to hate on the Pac, because hey, they have played some good football so far this year. But when they had their little undefeated streak, it's not like they were playing a lot of big name teams,
right? That's
and
true.
then, okay, I give Utah their props. They beat Florida, and
yes, they did.
That win looks great right now.
Yep,
it really does.
They
did it with a backup quarterback who is simply a game manager for them until or if Cam Rising ever makes an appearance.
Yeah.
That being said, though, then you have Auburn go out there and beat Cal in the ugliest game of the season.
The ugliest.
That was just embarrassing.
Hey, if you're watching, you need to fess up on that. That was ugly.
But
it was ugly.
Yeah, and like Colin said right there, Missouri beating Kansas State, it was a huge win, and the way it went down was even better. I love that kick. That was beautiful.
Right.
And I think the difference this year so far is, for some reason, I think the SEC is just getting off to they're just tiptoeing to start the season, and
I know
it's like they're walking on ice, and it's warming up, and they're just not comfortable right now. Because LSU against Florida State, for example, first half, I was like, okay, this is two really good teams. Second half, LSU came out flat. Last week, LSU plays Mississippi State, and shout out Tony Thomas, we beat the hell out of Mississippi State. And the reason that happened was because on the drive to the stadium, LSU stopped at a car dealership. They got out the stretch and had blaring music, did not let players take any naps. They had blaring music to have them in the mode the whole time. They were pumped up, ready to go. And they were shortening their halftime, like they were coming out of the tunnel quicker and everything, and it paid off. And I think Brian Kelly essentially lit a fire under him, and I think that it's finally got LSU like, hey, we see the goal now. Let's do this thing. Yeah. And with Alabama, though, I feel like their game with South Florida, that was essentially just weird to me. And it wasn't necessarily the fact that Alabama was bad, because their defense did just fine. It was more of, I feel like Nick Saban giving the middle fingers to the fans for everybody calling for a quarterback change every season if there's a little bitty issue. And then he's like, all right, you guys want this? This is what you're going to get. Puts in God. Well, Hunter's watching, so he'll agree with me here. Transfer Notre Dame quarterback, you don't want that.
No.
A Notre Dame offensive coordinator, clearly you're not wanting that right now.
Yeah.
And then you have to go to Ty Simpson, who is a great quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's just not quite there yet. And, thankfully Ty Simpson had that extra instinct in him, and they were able to get the dub. But it was nasty. It was ugly. But I think it was Nick Saban sending a message to the fans, and if anything, getting Milroe pumped up, ready to go, and hopefully it works out for him, and you might see a different version of that team this week.
Yeah.
So I got a much different take.
I know you hear
it. You always do, which is great. Go ahead.
Who cares where the SEC is at?
Yeah.
I don't get this whole conference superiority thing. The people that brag about conference superiority are the ones whose teams suck. And all they're doing is nut riding on somebody else's football.
Yeah.
Why does Auburn care if Mississippi State wins a football game?
Yeah.
I don't care. Matter of fact, I want every other team in the SEC to lose every game they play. I don't care. That's just where I'm at. I want Vanderbilt to win. I could give a rat's backside about the rest of them.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Your own show is sabotaging you, bro. Well, look, here's the reality of it, right? I know there's people out there that want the SEC to succeed. It doesn't matter who they're playing, whatever. I would argue to say we may have been united in one front as an SEC conference before. I haven't seen that lately. I've seen
Not at all.
where it's been, if my team's not winning, I want every team in the SEC to lose. Good question, Hunter. We don't know. Hopefully there's not an electrical problem somewhere he needs to take care of.
But hold on, I do have a question for you, though, George, on that. So
Sure.
My question is, though, when it comes to other sports, though, for instance, baseball,
Yes.
when it's the College World Series,
Yes.
if a conference makes it to the finals, aren't you kind of leaning want to see? Because I do.
Mm-hmm.
I personally do.
True. Now,
Except
I
for
will
Florida. I want them to lose every
agree
game.
with that. I will agree with that. As far as football goes,
Sure.
I think even people in the SEC are tired of seeing the same freaking bullcrap year in
Yeah.
year out. And so, Georgia, Alabama, every single time they're always right there in the middle of the thick of it. And it's interesting this year, they don't look so hot compared to some of the other teams that we've seen. And it's like you said, every single team practically in the SEC has come out flat, either in the first half or they've come out flat in the second half. And I think it goes to show, that dominance is not there.
Yeah.
And so here's my take on this. If you're Greg Sankey, right, what do you do to put out the flames? First off, you have Oklahoma and Texas coming in next year, right?
Yep.
So that being said, Texas looked really good. They continue to look decent. They didn't look the best against Wyoming. But, you've got them coming in. You've got Oklahoma coming in. Oklahoma's got a big base. Is there going to be it's kind of this outcast take? We're not talking baseball anymore. Is this kind of like this outcast take of when they come in, everybody in the SEC is going to go, those two, they don't really belong here? How long is it going to take for it to get to that point of,
Missouri
everybody
don't
getting
belong here.
to
What are you talking about?
SEC? Well, yeah, Missouri. Everybody dogs on Missouri.
Texas A&M don't belong here. Come on,
That's true.
now.
That's true.
I like having A&M in the conference.
Yeah. It begs to see. I mean, show the demon cat, Chris. Everybody's commenting on. They want to see the demon cat.
She's in the mood tonight, and she will not let me catch her. She'll
Okay.
walk up and stick her nose up and start yelling at me. And I
Hit the
reach down to
chat
get
if you
her.
want to see Chris jump up and chase the cat.
Right. Put ones in the chat. No, I was kidding.
I've already thrown a knife at her tonight. So just to let
Hey,
her know.
well, now hang on. Stop. The Golden Boot does not condone any acts of violence against any kind of animals. Okay, just
We
so you know.
support PETA, people
We
eating tasty animals. I haven't said that in years.
She keeps on. I do have a spoon that's fixing to get launched if she
All right,
don't shut
okay.
up.
No, I think everybody likes it. I think everybody loves hearing the most annoying cat in the world scream in it. So, but I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. I know you guys, we don't recognize Missouri. Yeah, honestly, can you catch the cat? I think this cat's going to be famous. If this cat puts us over the edge, Chris, you better post that daggum cat's face all over the place. Oh, jeez. Anyway, I honestly think that it's refreshing, and then we'll move on. But I think it's refreshing to see other conferences play as well as they have.
Let me answer this. The
Okay,
Pokemon that represented Vanderbilt last week was Magikarp. It just sat there and just flopped around and did nothing.
Where's Tim Bailey? I
You
need
put
confirmation
37
on
points
this.
on the board, my
I
friend.
need confirmation on this.
And you
Where's
still
Tim Bailey?
lost. Come on, man.
Tim Bailey, where you at?
Wait, I don't argue. I don't deny the fact that they played romper room football for 2 quarters. But for 2 quarters, they put 37 points on the football field.
Magikarp.
But it's against UNLV.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't care
gosh.
who you play. You turn it up. You put the ball on the carpet 6 times, you're getting beat. Don't
Okay,
care
but
Yeah.
who you play.
Whose
And you
fault
shouldn't put
was
the
it, though? Was it more UNLV causing the turnovers, or was it Vanderbilt giving turnovers?
It was Vanderbilt being careless with the football.
Yeesh. Well, you win some, you lose some. As a diehard Vandy fan, something has to change before we get the boot. Look at there, Seth Stanley. You actually have a Vandy fan in here with you.
Yeah.
Chris, do you know him?
I have not met that person yet, but I would not mind it.
Liar. You liar. I swear you're a liar.
I swear to God, I haven't met him.
Outdoors.
There's more of them. I know they're multiplying. Are you serious?
Mhm.
Seth, good to have you, man. Good to have a fellow Chris on behalf of Chris. No. Oh, my gosh. These comments. Okay, we got to move on. This is ridiculous. I don't think that's going to happen. Seth, good to have you, man. I think I have only met maybe a handful of Vanderbilt fans in my entire life, including Chris. So, well, hey, appreciate you coming in. You'll hear a lot of Vandy because we have a running joke. So no matter what we talk about, Seth, and this is just for you. No matter what we talk about, Chris somehow ties in Vanderbilt to every single thing we talk about, and it's a drinking game now. It's how many times he's going to segue into a Vanderbilt statement, how many times he's going to talk about A.J. Swan, how many times he's going to...
I'm not the one that brought him up tonight.
So anyway, it's interesting. We're good to have you. Awesome that we're getting some new listeners, new watchers. That's great. No, that's not happening, Hunter. That's not happening, Hunter. It's a family show. How dare you? Anyway, so I think, oh, Jesus, weird. Do not put Mel Tucker in charge of anything. If you watched the show last week, you know he got the jockstrap on purpose. Go ahead, Chris.
They've referenced Vanderbilt and Mel Tucker several times.
That is not happening.
I will tell you this. The next defensive coordinator at Vanderbilt University, when they fire Nick Howell at the end of the year, is going to be none other than Will Muschamp.
Will Muschamp?
Mark it on your little calendars today. Will Muschamp will be the defensive coordinator at Vanderbilt University.
Somebody clip this. If Will Muschamp walks in the doors, Chris,
he's already been there.
I'm telling you, you're gonna be. I don't know. We'll have to do some kind of special celebration.
He has already been there. His son is a quarterback in Chattanooga and is a Vandy commit.
Because his boy is coming to Vandy. Oh, Bobby Petrino should not be the new coach. Ooh. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, well, I got educated today. Dear baby Jesus, oh no, I agree. Okay, all right, okay, so with that being said, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Keep these comments coming. Keep the shares coming. Keep the likes coming. We're having a blast tonight, y'all. This is great. Let's hear from Bones Coffee. We'll be right back.
What's the difference between these two identical cups of coffee? Everything. Everything. Boring, basic coffee is leaving you dead inside. Thank the Dark Lord, there's Bones Coffee. Small batch, full-bodied coffee infused with the most mind-melting flavors in the world. Or underworld.
Oh, I've had flavored coffee
before.
I've had
flavored coffee before. You haven't had Welcome to the highly caffeinated, slightly wicked, and immortally delicious world of Bones. Our mad coffee scientists have twisted nature to their demented wills.
It's alive!
With frightfully delicious flavors like from dusk till donuts.
It's a taste I can really sink my teeth into.
Mint invaders.
I don't mean to probe, but how did you make this coffee taste like ice cream?
And electric unicorn.
Like eating fruity cereal. Yeah!
At Bones Coffee, we'll try just about every flavor combo out there.
Cannolis, salted pretzels, strawberry cheesecake.
The ones we love are made into small batches, roasted to order, and delivered directly to you. But the others... Rest in peace, Beanfish. We've got over 30 killer concoctions. So French press that link to find your new flavored coffee. There's more to life than pumpkin spice. But yeah, we smashed that pumpkin too. We also have comforting classic coffee if the flavored stuff is too scary. At Bones, our beans are complex and multidimensional.
I have opinions.
Which makes for rich, smooth, jaw-droppingly good joe. Stop drinking hot bean water and resurrect your caffeine routine. You can Bones at home, Bones at work, or Bones during your commute. Go to bonescoffee.com and check out our thousands of spooktacular 5-star reviews. If committing to one flavor gives you the heebie-jeebies, try our sample packs, a shocking selection of our most hauntingly delicious blends. Or join the coffee club and get new flavors delivered as often as you'd like. It's time to break from boring. Click the link to get yourself a bag of bones today.
Yo, what's going on? This is Jacob Hester, former LSU running back, here to tell you about a brand new college football podcast, the Golden Boot Podcast. Give it a listen, give it a try, give it a follow. They're going to work hard to be your new favorite podcast.
You're listening to the Golden Boot Podcast. Stay golden.
What's going on?
So, are you guys?
Hang on.
So, some Bone Crushers, the cold hard truth segment. Are you guys ready for a Bone Crusher?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, as you know, we're called the Golden Boot Show. Well, what the Golden Boot Show is, it's a spinoff of a previous podcast that the three of us do called the Golden Broom Show. We started the Golden Broom Show covering college baseball back earlier this spring after several years of talking about doing something that similar to what we started. So we didn't want to let our fans that had started following us on the Golden Broom Show sit for 6 months with no content. Right. So we started up the Golden Boot Show as a spinoff. And as such, we're thrilled to be part of the college sports media group and on the College Football Dogs platform. And George, I'm going to throw it over to you. Okay. I want you to talk about your experience on the Golden Broom.
Okay.
Because you kind of walked into it. Me and Kobe started. We invited you to come, and it's been a great thing having you. So I'm going to let you talk about your early days.
Oh gosh, my embarrassing days is what I call them. When we first started, it was I think I came on second to none basketball. I think it was. Just kind of as a guest or whatever, just to kind of fill it out. And I remember Chris talking about a baseball show. He's like, "Oh yeah, we do a baseball show." And I was like, "Hey man, I like baseball. I can, I'd love to join you guys." Yeah, come on. So here I come. And I by the way, I watched that video, just the beginning of that video the other day. Oh, so cringeworthy. I looked like a newborn baby deer sitting out there. I had my hands on my face. Like, I was sitting here like this the whole time. Oh, gosh. So, to look and see where we've come from then to now, man, I'm just blessed. These guys are one of my bestest friends. We talk all the time. We don't just talk one. Oh, Jody Robinson, there he is.
Jody,
what
time.
Odds
on
of him being on
right show. What are the odds?
What are the odds? Oh, you're just in time, Jody, because
stay watching. Because you're
just stay watching. Because just hang on. Because so anyway, it's been a blessing. We decided to do the Golden Boot because we all love football. We all watch basketball, baseball, football. But I was teaming to talk about football. I mean, that's my bread and butter, and I think it's been a success. You guys, the fans, everybody that watches, are MVPs because y'all have made it a smashing success. So, but I'm just a guy that loves to talk about sports, and I'd love to do it for a living one of these days. If I could quit my day job and do this, I would do it in a heartbeat. So anyway, that's what I got. Cody, show everybody what you got.
Man, well, first, before that, it has been awesome doing this show as even better for me doing baseball because
Yeah.
as much as I love football and I've watched it my whole life, baseball
Oh, yeah.
is my bread and butter, and I can talk about it in my sleep. But, and it was great seeing Jody pop on because Jody has joined us on many episodes of our baseball podcast.
Yep.
You don't know, he is a national champion coach.
Yep.
Under the legendary Augie Garrido, and it was great. It's always been great having him on. And without further ado, I would like to share an announcement. We coming, baby.
We're coming. It's so close. We can almost taste it. College baseball dogs. That's right. It is going to launch very, very soon. I'm super excited about it. We all three have been super excited about it, holding it in for like ever. But it's going to be amazing. And we're gonna kick it off the right way. Going to be awesome. Yep, kicking off in 2024. And it is going to be excellent. We're going to have sports writers. We're going to have podcasts. We're going to have, everything. It's just so freaking amazing. More to come on that. But yes, Golden Broom is coming. Season 2 has to happen soon because there's a lot going on in baseball. And Jody Robinson, you're a freaking legend, man. I love it. I love having you on. I know it's past your bedtime, but all right, let's that's one of the biggest bone crushers. I guess I will get to mine because I've got a bone crusher. And I need y'all to hear me because everybody here knows we're all Lord have mercy. We're all avid SEC fans, right? And everybody knows I'm an Arkansas fan. No, Cody's an LSU fan. Chris is a Vanderbilt fan. I got a bone to pick, and I think there's a cold hard truth for the Arkansas fan base. So if there's any Arkansas fans out there, I need you to hear me and hear me close. Listen, okay? I know we lost to BYU, right? We all saw it happen. And there will be losses that will happen. But what I want to specify is, no, Colin, they did not go into hiding. They came out full force.
Damage.
Yes. The fan base gets a big fat F for this week because this loss, apparently they decided that, you know what, it's time to reopen the thank you, Sarah. It's time to reopen the coaching carousel. Fire Sam Pittman. Get somebody else in here because, Arkansas is a better program than we put on the field. Now, I am all for being a better program. What I am not about is to go back to the Chad Morris years because I'm sorry, when Bobby Petrino fell off his motorcycle, that's where the wheels fell off, right? No. And you hired you had hired Brett Bielema, okay, who wasn't a great recruiter in the South. He was a recruiter in the North. He didn't work out. You go 4-8. You go 4-8 one season. He gets taken care of, right? I think in his fourth year, I think he was cut, going 4-8, right? You can bring in Chad Morris, the worst hire in college collegiate history, in my opinion, on any team. And it would, of course, happen to Arkansas. Okay. Houston, no job. So I mean, you go through that 2 years of pure hell. And he should have been fired year 2. Don't get me wrong on that, okay? He should have, but here's the problem with hiring and firing a coach a year or 2 years into a program. It sets a bad precedent for any other coach that's going to come in. And you can't tell me that there's not a big-name coach out there that said, I don't want to go to Arkansas because they only give their coaches 2 years. That fan base is nuts. They give them 2 years. If you're not performing, they boot you out the door. And there's this big narrative going on right now that Deion Sanders supposedly wanted to come to Arkansas, and because Arkansas is old-fashioned, in quotations, that's why they didn't hire him. I think that's a load of bull. I saw it on Saturday Down South or whatever. I think that's a load of bull. I don't think Deion Sanders would ever set foot on campus. I don't think he was ever going to be here. He was here for an interview because they needed to have some guys to interview, and that's it. I don't think he wanted to come here. The only person that wanted to come here was Sam Pittman. That's it. That's the only coach that was. And people go, well, why not? Why couldn't we get Lane Kiffin? Why couldn't we get Deion Sanders? Why couldn't we blah, 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 blah? Because when you hire and fire a guy in 2 years, no matter what the problem is, you've now set a precedent. And coaches now have a bad taste in their mouth. So you want to get rid of Sam Pittman? Okay? You want to get rid of Sam Pittman? Fine. You tell me who to bring in. You tell me who right now is sitting at home and going, okay, let's pack up everything and head to Arkansas. I'm ready. Let's go. I can't tell you one name. I can't tell you one name that wants to come here.
Ed Orgeron, baby.
Ed Orgeron is not sitting. No, he is not sitting there waiting to come to Arkansas. I'm sick of this narrative of, well, we can't stand mediocrity, so we need to just fire and get another guy in here. How many times is it going to take? How many times are you going to hit refresh, churn in, churn out? You gotta quit the insanity. If you try the same thing over and over and get the same results, it's got to happen.
So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Can I follow up on that?
Mel Tucker is not going to. God. Yes, go ahead.
So I don't know where they get this narrative that Arkansas is some kind of special place or great school.
Yeah.
Because here's the bone-crushing truth.
Let's hear it.
In their entire time in the SEC,
mm-hmm.
from the day they joined,
mm-hmm.
they have had 4 winning conference records.
Mm-hmm.
Now you think about how long they've been in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Just 4 times they've had a winning record in the conference play.
Yeah.
To back that up, since the beginning of the 2011 season, do you know who has the most last place finishes in the SEC? And we're talking the entire SEC, not just the West.
Mm.
It's not Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a team that wears dark red and white.
I get you.
So where are the fans getting this narrative that they should be better than what they are? Because
Good
they're
question.
not, and they don't have a track record of it.
Good question. That is a great question, and it needs to be answered. I don't have that answer. What I can say is Fayetteville, Arkansas, okay, is a great place to live. I don't know why Arkansas fans want to hang their hat on that. Recruits aren't sitting in Florida, in California, in Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, thinking, oh, you know what, I'm going to pack up everything and go to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Why? Because it's a great place to live. That's not cutting it.
Well, I feel your pain. We have the best city in the SEC.
Yeah.
We have the best academics in the SEC.
Yeah.
And why would people not
Bill
want to come to Nashville?
God.
But I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know where that narrative comes from. I hope there's Arkansas fans watching, because I honestly I want there to be more. I think when we had Ryan Mallett, that was our best chance in the Sugar Bowl in Ohio State. And honestly, I say that no. When we had Gus Malzahn and what's his name? Yeah, Mitch Mustaine.
Or Mitch Mustaine.
Yeah, that was the best chance. They won 8 games in a row, beat number 2 Auburn that year, and went to the SEC championship. So it can be done, but it's got to be there has to be some type of I don't know, not leeway, but you got to get off this narrative of, well, if this guy doesn't perform well, just like the other guys haven't, then we just got to get somebody else in. Well, you got to get another coach in. The coach obviously is not the problem. We've been through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coaches, and like you said, there's only been 4 winning seasons. Is that what you said, Chris? 4?
Yeah. In their entire history in the SEC. I'm
not going to say coaching is a problem. How prominent of a role does Jerry Jones play? Are they correlating Jerry with winning? And yeah, Jerry is a huge, huge donor. He is a huge donor. Supposedly, the narrative is he's the one that ponied up the dough to get Dion to come and interview. I don't think that's true. I know he's the one that put a chunk of Chad Morris's buyout because he was tired of watching that disaster. But Jerry Jones is a diehard Arkansas fan. He's a national champion, 64 Razorbacks. But the coaching, yes, the game looked sloppy. The game, we had 125 yards in penalties. We looked slow. We looked. I still to this day do not ask me. Don't ask me. Nobody asked me why we have a 260 pound quarterback. The guy lines up 785 yards off the line of scrimmage to run a 4th and half a yard, and they don't line up under center. I've never understood that. That was a frustrating thing last year, and here it is rearing its ugly head again this year. I don't know if he
for that.
Do what?
I feel like you have a graphic for that.
God, do we have a graphic for that? Yeah,
I thought you had one.
Yeah, we absolutely do.
I'll tell you why that is.
Why is that?
Because your offensive line's not very good, and it wasn't good last year. I've seen that. I'm not saying that to bring Vanderbilt into the equation, but Vanderbilt did the same thing last year at Missouri.
Yeah.
When you have no confidence in your offensive line about being able to man up and go get a yard, that's what you do.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes, TJ. Why do you line up 4 yards off the line? I don't know. I wish I had the
one
answer.
Thing that Arkansas is not doing that a lot of other programs are doing. So with LSU, for example, you see guys like Tyrann Mathieu pop up. You see a bunch of past players pop up. Where the hell is Darren McFadden and Felix Jones?
I don't know.
Like, seriously.
Same place Jay Cutler is.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm serious. Like, I would try to have those guys somehow on the staff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Auburn and Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
Match made in heaven, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think, my God, I couldn't imagine the wisdom these guys could get from those two.
I know.
I mean, that's one of the greatest duos of all time.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that spoiler alert, I'm hoping that we're able to get Darren McFadden on the show one day. That would be awesome. Would love to hear his take on it, because I'm sure he's got some takes on it. And also this is another point. Do not go personal after anybody after a loss, right? And we're going to get into that later with Colorado and Colorado State, right? We know the narrative there. Man, Twitter, again, Arkansas fan base, Fat F, they went after Sam Pittman so hard that the man deleted his Twitter. Now, some people say, oh, well, he's just being a baby. He didn't want to hear all the smoke, blah, 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 blah. Well, the man hardly ever used his Twitter, number one. He would just literally share things from Arkansas football. He wouldn't even hardly tweet from it. So it's not that big of a deal. But, I mean, really, you're going after a man personally after a loss? Come on. Just stop. This whole deal of yes, very good article. Very good article, Tony. Very, very good. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox. Big fat F to Arkansas fan base. Do better. Like I'm a realist, okay? I said at the beginning of the season, best case scenario, they would have 10 wins. Best case, right? And it has to be a perfect, no injury season, nothing going on there. They're not that. Rocket Sanders may still not play this weekend. We don't know. Nobody knows. They say he's going to travel. They don't say he's going to play. He may see the field. We don't know. The offensive line is banged up. We've got injuries in the backfield again. I mean, yes, Sarah, I'm a realist. You're married to a realist.
Married to something, right?
Anyway, we'll touch base with that in our. I do feel clean after that soapbox. I do, Colin. I do. Anyway, so
let me add to your the Twitter fan thing.
Go for it.
If you're on Twitter
mm-hmm.
and you're naming players
mm-hmm.
and naming coaches
mm-hmm.
and talking trash about these guys,
mm-hmm.
don't be surprised when they block you or they delete their account.
For real.
Because you're not here.
Absolutely.
They don't want to see that.
No.
And then when they do block you, don't cry about it because you brought it on yourself.
First off, how does that help anything?
It doesn't.
If you're mad that your team is struggling, how does attacking the head coach going to help anything? All that's going to do is distract the man from doing his job. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. Twitter
I'll
is
get on
Chris's
a rabbit
favorite.
hole.
He does. Anyway, that is my bone crusher. Does anybody else have anything before we move on?
Well, I feel like we need a laugh.
We
And
do.
Chris, you shared some videos with us this week.
Yes.
Let's get into some AI stuff.
Yes.
So, yeah, go ahead and share whichever one you want to share, George, first. But these made me almost cry laughing.
Oh. So let's do the Matt Campbell one first.
Okay.
So, as you know, Iowa State lost to Ohio last weekend. I think the score was 10-7. I could be mistaken. But Iowa State kicked a field goal at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And from every angle, it looked like it was good.
Right. Every angle it did.
They waved it off and said it was no good. Well,
Right.
on the way out of the stadium, a fan yells out at Matt Campbell and says, "Where are you going, Campbell? You're on the hot seat."
Oh, jeez.
Matt Campbell full stopped, turned around, and started going at the fan.
Right.
And had to be held back by his assistant.
Right.
Now, somebody on Twitter has decided they're into doing AI stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thank goodness it hasn't got to the point of being deep fake. But what they're doing is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So roll the clip of Matt Campbell on AI.
All right,
Language
I got it.
warning.
I got
Yes.
yeah, language warning. It is a family show. There will be some language.
You all have had fun with this 25-point obsession, and I get it. I do. But if I'm not mistaken, we just dropped 41 on Saturday. So maybe it's time to grab a hold of your little step ladders and go ahead and climb out of my ass for a while.
That was the wrong one.
Okay. All right, my bad. Here it is. Here's the right one.
First of all, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The Fiesta Bowl champ does what the f*** he wants. If that troll after the Ohio game wants to meet in the next Rough and Rowdy, I'll send his Mardi Gras bead-wearing trash ass back to Sunnyvale in a coffee can.
Let's get some humor going here.
Jesus.
Mardi Gras bead wearing butt.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I couldn't see what clip it was. My bad.
You're good.
And then, now Brian Ferentz has a contract where he has to average 25 points a game this year.
Yeah.
Or he loses his job.
What?
And they set it up that way because the Iowa offense has been so bad for the last 2 years.
Is that real? That's a real clause in his contract?
Real. That is real as it gets. So,
holy crap.
He's currently ahead of schedule.
Okay.
For the rest of the year, he only has to average 23.9 points.
What is this? Oh, gosh.
But people have been giving him a hard time about this 25-point clause.
Yeah.
So here's your reference for the Brian Ferentz AI clip that go ahead and play it again.
You all have had fun with this 25-point obsession, and I get it. I do. But if I'm not mistaken, we just dropped 41 on Saturday. So maybe it's time to grab a hold of your little step ladders and go ahead and climb out of my ass for a while.
So people thought that was real.
Yeah.
In fact, Outkick did a story on it of him going off on the media.
That's great.
Before they figured out, no, this is fake. And then they had to write a redo to say,
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. They did not.
Yes,
they really
I swear to
thought
God.
he said that. But, like, okay, but to be honest, I would have thought he said that. Because, I mean, who signs a clause in their contract they have to beat opponents 25 points a game to keep your job?
I mean,
I have never heard of that, man.
But it's a real thing.
Wow. Golly, that is wild. His comments are wild as well. Y'all just keep them coming because this is great. This is the Golden Boot Podcast.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, Hunter.
We will touch on that. Let's hear from Dano's seasoning real quick. We'll touch on that when we come back.
Yum yum, get you some. Yum yum, get you some. Yum yum, get you some. Yum yum, get you some.
Dano seasoning, food's favorite flavor.
Yum yum, get you some.
I'm Joe Burrito, your favorite burrito. Whoa, whoa.
Joe,
Hey.
we all know you're the best.
What?
You can always do better.
What you got?
Try the new Dano's Hot Chipotle.
Hey. Ooh, that's spicy. Yum yum.
Yum yum, get you some.
So my favorite part of that video is the dancing naked chickens.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why.
God.
Every time I see it, I think of South Carolina. South Carolina currently has the number 14 defense in the SEC, which is astounding to me.
Yeah.
Because, Vanderbilt's played some pretty horrible defense this year. For South Carolina to be under them.
Yeah.
So, I get a kick out of that. Every time I see it, I think of South Carolina.
Mary and Joseph.
The dancing naked chickens.
Oh, my goodness. Well, with that being said, let's get into the gridiron. We got a lot to talk about then. Let's go. All right. Sarah, I swear. Okay, so let's kick this thing off right. Let's do some quick recaps. We already talked about LSU shellacking Mississippi State. I have one question only. To each everybody in here and anybody on the comments. Was that more LSU looking good, or was that more Mississippi State looking bad?
I think it's a combination of both.
Combination of both.
Yep.
I think LSU is getting it together, and I think Mississippi State is still finding their way.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Calling is crap.
Yeah, well, my whole take on that is, and I remember seeing it. So remember, I showed you. I don't have the graphic, but it showed the top rushing leader in the SEC at the time was Mississippi State's running back. Now, that is a huge difference than last year because it was air raid, right? And he just does not look good at all. The ball is coming out flat. I mean, there was times he had no pressure on him whatsoever and still couldn't throw the ball. It was remarkable. Will Rogers looked terrible in that game.
So I heard while I was watching that game, they talked
Yeah.
about an interview that they had done with Will Rogers
Mm-hmm.
and how complex the play calls are this year versus what he had in the air raid.
Really?
Now look, he was recruited to be an air raid quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He was not recruited to be a spread quarterback or an RPO guy.
Mm-hmm.
He does not belong in the offense that they are running.
No.
If Mississippi State, I love Will Rogers. He may be the best passing quarterback in the entire SEC.
Mm.
But if they don't make the switch to Mike Wright, it's going to be a long, long, long season down there in Starkville.
Yep.
And I hate to say that because, like I said, I love Will Rogers. I think he's the real deal.
I agree.
But he does not fit that offensive scheme. And there's just some quarterbacks that are like that.
Yeah. So we know that Mississippi State, we know that LSU plays Arkansas this weekend. Who does Mississippi State play? Or do they? I meant to pull it up.
Mississippi State plays South Carolina.
South Carolina. So they play South Carolina.
And something has to give there because South Carolina's got the number 14 defense.
Mm-hmm.
Mississippi State has a number 14 offense.
Mm-hmm.
Something has to give.
Yeah. So what do you think about that game? Is it going to be a defensive battle, or what do you think is going to happen?
I think it's going to be ugly. I think that I actually think that Mississippi State has a much better chance than they're given.
Yeah.
In this game, I think it's kind of like how Alabama looked after the Texas game against South Florida. You know, like you have that big game, and then usually after that you kind of come off flat.
Yeah.
I feel like Mississippi State essentially just took a beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina, on the other hand, they went into war, and they just came up short.
Mm-hmm.
So I just for some reason think that I don't know. I feel like Mississippi State might get it together this weekend and actually pull it out.
It would be interesting because Spencer Rattler looked very good against Georgia. He looked very good against North Carolina. And if he has another game that he looks really good, I don't know if Mississippi State has the offense to keep up.
Yeah. And also the line on LSU Arkansas last I saw was 17.5.
17.5 point favorite LSU. Mm-hmm. And that was more than likely because of BYU. It is what it is.
For sure.
Before we get into that game, because I kind of want to save that a little bit later, let's talk about Alabama and who did they play? Florida, which one?
They played USF, and they have Ole Miss coming in this week.
Yes, they do. So they looked awful in that game, and we know why. Nick Saban made the most controversial decision I think I've ever seen him make in his entire coaching career.
But was it controversial?
It certainly seemed like it to me. You put in Tyler Buckner as the starter, and what's his name plays some. Jalen Milrose nowhere on the field, and they only put up 17 points.
And 17, those were late points.
And those were late, and I mean late. Like there was a point where I thought that they were going to throw up an egg and lose that ball game.
That would have been hilarious.
It would have been. I don't even know what the Alabama fan base would do.
The reason he benched, and that's what it was, he benched him.
He did bench him.
Was because in film study after Texas, he couldn't identify his reads.
Yeah.
And he didn't respond well to that, so they benched him. And they told him, hey, we're going to play the other guys this week. It's up to you if you want this job. It's up to you in the way you act. If you act accordingly, you get your job back.
Well, you know what that tells me? That all this off-season, preseason jarble that was coming out that Alabama has a quarterback problem, ding, 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 they have a winner.
They do.
They have a bad quarterback problem. And Jalen Milroe, he's going to play better than Buckner and the other guy, I can't remember his name. But, I mean, I remember seeing it where at a camp we were sharing all kinds of stuff, and they were saying the ball's coming out flat, there's balls being thrown in the dirt. And then we witnessed it with our own two eyes
Yep.
Buckner throwing, 3 different balls. Looked like they came out of his hands so funky that he just spiked him in the dirt 4 yards in front of his receiver.
Yep.
And, I mean,
Now,
that's
also-
your backup?
Now,
It's-
also remember, Alabama has got a very young offensive line.
Mm-hmm. They do.
This is not a normal Alabama team that's got redshirt senior after redshirt senior playing on the offensive line. They just
And
don't.
why is that, Chris? Why do you think that is?
Because
Well,
the
Brockmeyer,
transfer portal, period.
The transfer portal, yeah. So that's what I was going to get at, because the transfer portal has changed who Alabama is. I don't care what anybody says. Used to, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong. We've been watching football a long time. Used to, you had 5-star after 5-star after 5-star sitting on the bench for 2 years to wait to get in the game for Alabama, right? We saw that happen year in and year out. Transfer portal comes up, boom. They don't have that depth no more. They don't have 4 and 5 stars sitting on the bench. They don't have 5 stars that they can throw in into special teams. Remember, Alabama used to put in wide receivers, 5-star wide receivers in special teams to get them in the game because they had nothing else for them to do as starters. Now they don't have that. Alabama doesn't have that anymore. So
one of the comments was about developing the quarterback.
yeah.
Jalen Milroe is a sophomore.
Yep.
That played very little last year. What do you expect out of development out of that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's
especially
crazy.
changing offensive coordinators.
Exactly. I mean,
it is wild.
Now, for me, I would rather see Ty Simpson on the field.
Ty Simpson. That's his other name.
And use the running game
Mm-hmm.
because the offensive line can't pass block.
Mm-hmm.
Use the running game and go old school Alabama.
Yeah.
Run that ball. Run that ball.
Mm-hmm.
Work the clock. Shorten the game. And you're going to see a different Alabama than trying to run a spread offense. I
agree. That was a good point, TJ, where Nick Saban's biggest mistake this year was going back to pro-style offense. I agree. And I will also add to this. I want 2 questions answered, and then we'll move on to Alabama and Ole Miss, right? Well, actually, we'll just combine the 2. Chat, do you think that Nick Saban is gone, number 1? Because there's a lot of rumors circulating. He bought a $70 million property in Florida or some crap. I don't know anything about that. He doesn't seem like he has the same fire to me, right? So do you number 1, do you think he's gone? And number 2, who are you taking this week, Ole Miss or Alabama? And we'll talk about it because Ole Miss in some games looked really good, and some games they looked eh. So what do you guys think?
I'll let you go, Chris.
I'm taking Ole Miss. And hands down, I think they're the better team.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I am shocked that I'm saying this out of my mouth, but I think I am taking Ole Miss as well. They look more like a complete team. Unless Alabama somehow gets the refs on their side, I do not think that they're going to have enough firepower to keep up with Jackson Dart and Ole Miss.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Ole Miss wins as well.
I can't believe I'm saying that. I never thought in a million years I would say that. But I honestly think Alabama, and I think Ole Miss is not the only game that Alabama has to worry about for the rest of the year.
Not at all.
LSU, I think is going to be a really tough one for them. If Arkansas gets it together, I think that's going to be a tough game for them. I mean, there's several. Auburn is not going to be a cakewalk for them, even though Auburn is playing horrible right now.
And Colin brings up a great point right there too. Ole Miss is due for a
multi-turnover. I know a crap the bed type of game. I agree. And the only thing that makes me think just a smidge about putting Ole Miss over Alabama is Alabama's defense. Is this the week that Alabama's defense is going to look like Alabama's defense?
Yeah, but see, the problem with Alabama's defense is they give receivers so much space.
They do.
That Texas game, I mean, a defender wasn't within 10 yards most of the time.
No,
and the type of offense that Kiffin runs, my
Yep.
God,
Yep.
he's ready for that. Like, he's definitely ready for that. And, to address the question about Saban retiring, I don't think it's happening yet.
Yeah.
I mean, just because he's buying, a property somewhere, so be it. I mean, a lot of people have property in other states. It can be a summer home. I mean, yeah, he's got his lake house or whatever, but, you got to have somewhere to, go in the off season besides the lake house. So why not get ready for retirement? I mean, I think he's still got it. And I think that, I think it's more, you don't see that intensity out of him because I think he knows where this team is.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be one of those things where I think it will come out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't get that retirement vibe yet. Not yet.
I'm on the fence. I don't know. It's weird. I know there was rumors where he started telling close friends, but the problem is you can't trust the source because you don't know where it's coming from. If somebody on the street could have made that up, you don't know.
You want my thought on that?
Let's hear it, Chris.
Saban retires. Congress passes the Blumenthal Booker proposal on NIL.
Yeah.
And he becomes the chairman of the 15-person panel to oversee NIL.
I could see that.
I could see that. I could see him being on the seat.
That's what he's been doing all summer long.
Saban being in the Pat McAfee show every Thursday. Lord, that would be something, boy.
I would watch that right there. I ain't even gonna lie.
That might be the greatest pairing ever. You got Pat McAfee who stands on his own daggum desk, and you got Saban over there who's talking about rat poison the whole time. I think that would be great.
But
wow.
If you watch Saban's stuff over the summer, it's 100% what he was doing was positioning himself to be the lead guy on NIL enforcement.
Look at TJ's comment there. Do you think that do you think everything new in college football, NIL, transfer portal, realignment have pushed him past his point of wanting to coach? I don't think it's so I don't think it's so far fetched to think that. He hasn't
and
been
he's
the
not
same.
the only one.
He hasn't been the same in the media. He hasn't been the same, I'm not talking about it. He's been very vocal. He's against NIL. There's a lot of different things. So it doesn't surprise me if that's the case.
He's not the only one either.
I don't know what that is in the back. That's not the game. I don't know what that is in the background.
No, it's
whatever Marla's watching.
Whatever she's watching.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, so let's talk about who does Vandy play this week?
Kentucky. And
let's get into that. I saw Matt's comment earlier. 41-17. Kentucky over Vandy is what he's saying.
Vanderbilt has scored 36, 43, 20, and 37.
Yeah.
And Kentucky's holding them to 17.
Yeah.
I think he's out of his damn mind.
All right, go ahead.
Will Shepherd is better than any receiver Kentucky has on their roster.
Yeah.
It's not a talent. It's not a talent issue.
Yeah.
It's an issue of can Vanderbilt stop playing romper room games and take care of the dadgum football.
Yeah.
7 turnovers in 2 games are the reason they're sitting at 2-2.
Well, let's hear about why Kentucky thinks they're going to have an issue. Here's Big Blue Nation on the visiting locker room situation. Is it going to play? Is it playing? Is it working?
Not playing.
It's not playing. Why is it not playing? I don't know why it's not playing. Well, we may not get to hear why Big Blue Nation. Yeah,
Try it
let me
again.
see. Hang on. Let's try it again.
It
Chris,
played
it's
earlier.
cursed. It's cursed.
It's a great picture.
It's cursed. Blasting zone ahead. It's cursed. I'm telling you, it's not working. It worked. I tried it earlier, Chris. You broke it. It's your fault.
So let me.
Yeah, I hate everything.
So hold on here.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Yeah, we think it's been a good show so far. I don't know why it's not working, but the gist of it is that Kentucky is standing in Vanderbilt's away tent. You heard me right. It's a tent because they're doing their construction. And they're commenting on how this is unfair and we're in this tent and there's not great amenities and blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure Chris is going to say, I don't care what your amenities are if you're an away team. Anyway, so I don't know if there's people out there that think – do you think it's an advantage to strip people of amenities in the away locker room? Does anybody think that? Put it in the comments. If you think – give us your opinion if you think that there is an advantage to taking away amenities. Because – and the only reason I say that, there was a game – and we're not talking baseball – but there was a baseball game where Mississippi State was renovating their stadium, and Arkansas didn't have running water in their locker room. So, anyway.
Well, remember that when Tennessee had to go down to Hattiesburg for their Super and then you see them out back, like just under the dugouts behind soggy Chick-fil-A.
Yes. It's something. Anyway, I don't know why that video is not working.
So
but,
try it now.
Try it now? You want me to try it now?
Yeah. And also, you keep seeing the comments about this NC State-Virginia game. I'm following it currently. And, yeah, they're going – I believe it's going to be like a 57-yard attempt to win the game for NC State.
What's up, BBN? It's Maggie Davis, Eli Gain. We've made it to Nashville. One of the big stories of this weekend, of course, all the construction. We've already seen a little bit of it. We're actually inside UK's locker room right now, getting a glimpse inside the tent. They're staying in a tent. But it's not bad. Equipment guys unloading everything right now. Eli, what do you think?
It's going to be a distraction, I think, a little bit. Players aren't used to, I mean, of course, Kentucky, first time being on the road. But with the construction and your locker room being a tent, it's going to be very important to stay focused yourselves. And I think the players are going to have a good mental challenge when they come in here. But yeah, it's not bad, though. I mean, you got your spot, you got your little locker areas, so to speak. I think it'll be okay.
And they've got the AC blasting. It's cold in here, so that'll help. We've got way more coming up tonight at 7:30 on BBN tonight. We'll see you then.
Okay, so it finally worked. That is a very interesting situation there.
I mean, it's not that bad.
They didn't dog it.
Yeah,
they didn't
what's wrong
dog
with
it?
it?
I guess not. It's not. No. Well, I think
NC
it'll be a little
State
distracting.
wins,
They won.
Yeah, there's a personal foul after the blocked field goal. And they hit a 33-yarder to win it.
Wow. Well, it said it was blocked. So they blocked a field goal and then got a personal foul. Another one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Eesh. Well, that's that. What was the final score?
24-21.
Yeah, that was a very defensive.
Doesn't
ball
say
game,
much
and I don't think it was on
for
purpose.
North Carolina State because Virginia is bad.
Yes. Well, you know, Virginia's actually gotten better. So they had that transfer quarterback come in, and he just was not good. So they put a true freshman in to at least I believe he's a true freshman. And I know he's labeled as a freshman, but he's come in, and I mean he's actually done pretty good for a guy on a not so good team.
Yeah. So you guys want to comment on Notre Dame and Ohio State? I think that might be one of the games that everybody's going to be watching, I feel. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, you know, you've got the president of college football, Dawg's Hunter's favorite team, Notre Dame, playing in this game. So, I mean,
you better get in here, Hunter.
You know, looking at this game, to me, it's an interesting game because, I mean, with Ohio State, I am a believer in Ohio State. I really am. And I know they've got the talent there. I mean, my God, they literally have the best wide receiver room in the country and arguably better than some in the NFL just with all the talent they've got. And they got a quarterback that's still learning his way. And I mean, the Western Kentucky game, okay, it's Western Kentucky. People might say, oh, well, who cares? No, Western Kentucky is a respectable program. They really are. And they have a very good quarterback. So defense was there for Ohio State in that game. Very impressed with that. And their offense exploded. And sometimes it takes a game like that to get you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like Notre Dame is more tested this year. And I'm not all in on, oh, my God, Notre Dame is back. Notre Dame is this, Notre Dame is that. But the one thing Notre Dame really does have is a great running back. Sam Hartman being the leader of the offense is fine and dandy. He's not the best quarterback. I mean, yeah, he's made some good plays this year, but nothing that's made me, ooh and ah about it. But the running back, the guy is just awesome. He's averaging 8.8 yards a carry. I mean, he's just a workhorse, and their backup running back, he left and transferred to LSU, and he's thriving down there. And I understand why he transferred now, because you're not taking snaps from this guy. I mean, this guy's seriously the real deal. Now, yes, it's been pointed out Notre Dame has a pretty weak offensive line. They do have Joe Alt, who is one of the best linemen in the country, but obviously one guy can't make up a whole line. Notre Dame's defense, on the other hand, has some very good players. Their secondary is pretty solid. I'm wanting to lean towards Notre Dame. But, I mean, because that's who I made them as my pick. But it's hard to pick against a team that has Marvin Harrison Jr. on it.
Yeah.
Just to be perfectly honest, it is. And you got Travion Henderson at running back on Ohio State, who's also very good. It's just, can McCord keep everything in check? Because the game's on his shoulders. Going on the road to Notre Dame is not easy. And the more I think about it, you know what? Screw it. I've said Notre Dame the whole time. Damn it, give me Notre Dame. Notre Dame wins it good. It's not going to be a blowout by any stretch.
Yeah.
Watch us say that now. It's going to be like a 49-0 kind of game.
Right. Chris?
So one thing about Sam Hartman is he has been under duress all season. And Notre Dame's offensive line really isn't very good. They have one player that stands out above everybody else, but the rest of the line is very suspect at best. I don't think Sam Hartman's going to have time to stand back there and throw the ball.
Wow.
Ohio State wins this. I think they win it easily. And I'm going to say it's at least a 2-touchdown game in favor of Ohio State.
Wow. Oh, man. It's funny because if Trev or the host of Notre Dame, the Notre Dame podcast, I can't remember what it is, We Are Notre Dame or something like that. I can't remember. Forgive me if you're watching. Was here, they would say, but Notre Dame has, they're all returning guys on the offensive line. Yeah, I know, but I haven't seen the production that needs to come out of those guys. They haven't played anybody, and there's been games, especially the first game. Sam Hartman was running all over for his life the first half. And had to make plays with his legs, and he shouldn't have to.
Here's what you get with returning starters. Vanderbilt had the most improved offensive line last year in the SEC. It wasn't even a question. They were by far the most improved. Now, you return every starter on the offensive line. There's over 70 starts among them, and they've been absolutely terrible this year.
Look how he brought us back to Vanderbilt. Look at that.
I mean, just because you bring all these guys back don't mean you're good.
If you're Vanderbilt shot watching, take your shot. That's what just happened. Yeah, just mark that off. So I am leaning towards Ohio State as well, for that reason. Although I haven't been really impressed with Ohio State's quarterback. But I will say this: he's looked better at times than Sam Hartman has. He's also made better. better plays. Evan Thomas from We Are Indy Nation. Yes, Evan, I love that guy. He had a big old glass of Irish whiskey and was just dumping it in the middle of the show like a boss. So yeah, Evan, if you're watching, sorry, but I got to go with Ohio State as well. I just think that they have proven themselves to be more caliber of a team. So yeah, there you go. Proper. I think that's exactly what he was drinking too.
It is.
He had the big old fifth of it too. Big old bottle. But anyway, I'm going to take Ohio State in this. I think it's going to be a close ball game because I think Notre Dame is going to come to play, but I think Ohio State ends up getting the victory. So, all right. Before we move on, let's talk one more game. I think we need. Well, okay, let's talk two more games. First off, real quick, Kenny's not in here, so we'll breeze through this one. Auburn, Texas A&M. Who do you have? Everybody smile all at once. Comments in here. Get them in here. Who you got? Auburn, Texas A&M.
All right. I mean, I'll play. This is who I got.
Chris, you're about full of shit.
You're taking Auburn?
Baby, let's go Auburn.
Oh man. Okay, Chris.
So, I'm taking the Jake Crane advice. Texas A&M has the better roster. It's not even a question.
Okay. Yep.
And they should have a better roster because they've recruited better over the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just because they have a better roster doesn't mean they've been great. However, Auburn fans need to temper their expectations of winning this ball game simply based on that fact.
Yeah.
I'm going Texas A&M, and I think they pull away late. I think it's a close game most of the way through. They pull away late.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Peyton Thorne,
I know who just posted that.
Peyton Thorne is the worst quarterback in the SEC.
Bar none.
Not even a debate.
Bar none. And do what? I'm sorry.
I said outside of AJ Swan.
Well, the thing
one's
is,
leading the SEC in passing yards. And
no. We're not talking about Vanderbilt. We're not doing it. Don't do it.
Up.
I know that. But that doesn't give you a green light to say nothing. We saw what Peyton Thorne did against Cal. That was horrible. The ugliest game I think I've seen this year easily. Auburn won based on their defense because Cal had no offense. And I think Auburn does have a good defense. But here's the thing. I do not think that this Auburn team is going to put a whole lot of points. Even these herald Auburn running backs, Jarquez Hunter, where was he? We didn't see him. Cody Shaw. It's just Frank Harris will not play.
All right,
tomorrow.
Chris, what's your prediction on that game now?
Well, that game has lost a lot of luster.
That is going to be.
UTSA has not been the team that I expected them to be. I don't think that's even a question. But Tennessee is also not the team everybody thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
Gut check time for both of them.
Yeah. That's rough.
What I'm hearing coming out of Knoxville, I would not be shocked if UTSA still wins this game.
Why is that?
Oh, it's a dumpster. When you got the leader of your defense saying you have an undisciplined team and that it's not a shock, that's a problem. We see players from Tennessee posting pictures of jaguars and cheetahs, and there's just a lot of talk. And I'll go as far as saying the Tennessee fan base is fixing to Butch Jones, Josh Heupel. And what I mean by that is half of the fans want Nico to be the starter now.
That's just ridiculous.
And Josh Heupel has firmly said Joe Milton is our best quarterback. And when he continues to trot Joe Milton out there, he's going to divide the fan base, and they're going to be calling for his job.
I wish Dustin was in here. We need to get Dustin in here, just in the comments, just to see what he thought.
Where's Randy Jowers when you need him?
Where's who?
Where's Randy Jowers when you need him?
I know, right? I'm sure he'd have plenty to say on that. I wonder what his take is on that.
Well, I can tell you his preseason take was Nico's not ready.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's not. Dustin will be co-hosting tomorrow. That's right. He will. He will be co-hosting from 9 to 12 right here on College Football Dogs for the game day show. So that's exciting stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there's if Frank Harris isn't playing, that's a rough ball game.
But they've known he's had problems since the beginning of the year. I don't think he played in game 1, did he?
I don't think so.
So yeah,
I don't think so.
They played before without him, and almost came back and won that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
couple bad calls late. Couple bad calls late hurt them.
Yeah. Well, last game, I mean, there's other games we can touch on. Georgia plays somebody. I don't care. Georgia looks terrible. They're not going to win.
Somebody.
They're not going to win every game all year long. Anyway, just if you're a Georgia fan, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Three-peat ain't going to happen. And if it does,
I have an upset pick.
Okay, what's your upset pick?
Memphis beats Missouri.
You think so?
And I have foundation for that. There was supposed to have been a Memphis-Missouri game last year.
Uh-huh.
Somebody canceled it.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be in Memphis.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Somebody canceled it. And then when it came down to bowl season, somebody was supposed to go play in the Liberty Bowl in Memphis.
Yeah.
And they said, no, we're not going to Memphis. That's how Arkansas ended up there. There's bad blood brewing between these two schools, and Memphis is coming to take names.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because that was actually almost my upset pick this week, but it was not.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they're going to be riding high off the Kansas State victory. Honestly, Kansas State is, yes, they were ranked, but are they going to stay ranked throughout the season? I don't think so.
So that being said, since we're kind of talking games and stuff, it would be cool for me to go ahead and show my locks of the week.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
All right, so these are my locks this week, everybody. Let me get this banner out of the way.
TJ, what do you think? Get the comments in there.
All right, so I've got Rutgers covering against Michigan this week, and the reason I have that is because Michigan, they've just kind of skated by this year. They haven't looked good. They haven't looked bad. They haven't looked good. They've had a lot of turnovers. Just I was waiting on that sound effect. And then you go to UCLA. I think they straight up just beat Utah. I do. And then I'm taking Oregon State because I think Damian Martinez is the best running back in the nation. The dude is a stud, and I think he's going to be the reason.
Better than Blake Corum?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a steep one.
It's a very steep one, but kid's very talented. And then give me the fighting Brent Keys to take out Wake Forest from an upset pick this week. I'm 3-1 on my upset picks.
I'm with you on Oregon State and
I'm with you too.
Georgia Tech.
These picks look really, really good.
Yeah, I went through and I looked through a few today, and that was kind of what I walked up with. And I'm 3-1 so far on my upset picks. And, I called Duke over Clemson. I called South Alabama to beat Oklahoma State, which looking at now, I don't even know if I could even consider it an upset, just how bad it was. And then what was the Texas State over Baylor. I called that one too. So, yeah, so those are my picks. And yeah, so if you want to make some bets and win some money this week, that's probably your best bet.
So how about we hear from the farmer's dog and then come back with
oh my gosh,
with some high school highlight or high school focus and give away some awards.
Well, we will, but one game we almost forgot about because we didn't get a chance to touch on it is the Arkansas LSU game. We'll do it quick, but that definitely needs to be talked about. To answer, I think was it TJ that asked what the spread was, or was it Tony? 17.5 point favorite to LSU. Historically, you got 2007. You got a few upsets. Arkansas comes in LSU. There's been a lot of hype. I personally think the game's going to be close. It's very much an Arkansas thing to lose to BYU and then squeak out a victory or be extremely close loss to LSU. It fits the narrative, and so we'll see. I'm not going to pick it though because I don't want to jinx myself. I hate it, man. So we'll see. It'll be an interesting game. It's night, Death Valley. Is that the first game in Death Valley this year? Is that the first? Like, it's the first SEC game in Death Valley, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it ought to be mentioned too. I think we mentioned it. Well, no, we didn't mention it on the. George, y'all get blown out. Okay, well, we'll see. I appreciate that Facebook user, whoever you are. But what did we say earlier before we started the show, Cody? We said that this is the earliest in the season in history that Arkansas has ever played LSU. We used to, it's going to be the Battle of the Boot, which I actually wanted to show.
The
Golden Boot, exactly, which is kind of where this show came from. Just saying. But that's the trophy. That is a very heavy trophy. And obviously the reason it's called the boot is Arkansas and Louisiana look like a boot together, right? That's kind of the running joke. So the Battle of the Golden Boot, I don't know. Chris, what are you thinking?
So I don't think this game is going to be close at all.
I hate you.
It is what it is. I think LSU is clearly the better team. And I'm going to let Cody talk about the main reason I don't think this game is going to be close, and that's because I think LSU's got something to play for. With Greg Brooks being announced this week as having cancer, I think LSU comes out and plays inspired football in the name of Greg Brooks. And Cody, take it away and talk about Mr. Brooks.
Sure, but one thing to add though too is I feel like Arkansas is going to play for him as well because he's their brother as well. Greg Brooks is a fantastic athlete. He's meant a lot to the LSU defense in his season and a half that he's been there. This whole situation is extremely unfortunate. Not necessarily because we're losing a player. It's more of for the man himself. I mean, he put his whole life into this sport to make a life out of it, and then gets derailed like this. The fact that the man played the Florida State game with that, I mean, that's just unheard of. And what his future holds for him, nobody knows. Nobody's really said. I think the last report I saw was he was able to stand up assisted, which is very good to hear. He's a fighter, and I know the team is going to come out and play for him tomorrow. I know Arkansas is going to do the same thing. I think they're just in this together, really, in the situation. And, I just, definitely prayers to him and his family and, hoping for a good, speedy recovery. What his future holds, whether he ever steps foot on the field or not again at this point is irrelevant. I just want to see the man healthy and thriving in life, and whatever he decides to do next has my support fully. Go Tigers.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's going to be a mutual thing. I think Hogs are going to come out, but I think they're going to be, because Greg Brooks played for us too, and so it's going to be a mutual thing. Death Valley is going to be rocking. I I'll say that LSU wins by a field goal in Death Valley. So that's what I'll say.
Well,
Anyway.
I respect Arkansas. I do. This game is always close, always hard fought. Both teams leave it all on the field. You remember years ago when Arkansas had that linebacker was named Tony Bua, I believe was his name. That dude hit harder than I've ever seen anybody hit in my life. Thank God targeting wasn't around back then because that dude would have been ejected every game.
Yeah.
That being said, this isn't the damn past. Last year doesn't matter. These LSU Tigers are coming out. They're wanting some blood in this game, damn it. We're going to win this game, but not only are we going to win it, it's going to look worse than last week. LSU by 50. Go Tigers.
Oh, man. Spoken like a true Tiger fan. Man. All right. Let's hear. Go ahead.
I was going to rip this shirt, by the way. Then I realized what shirt I was wearing. So I'm going to say.
You almost had a Tim Bailey moment.
I am going to address one comment before we go to break.
Yeah.
Kenny, you can hang that shit on the clothesline in your ex-wife's burnt down house backyard. That will never happen. I don't care what you say or who you get to beg me to do it. That will never happen.
Actually, hold on now. It will happen because all I got to do is start learning how to make AI videos, and
that's
I can
it. Chris can.
I don't know how to do it yet, but I'll figure it out.
I guarantee you. If there's one man in this room that can figure it out, it's you, and I will die laughing when it happens. Oh gosh. All right, well, let's hear from the Farmer's Dog real quick, and then we'll get to our awards, and then we'll touch on high school spotlight, and then we will call it a night. Y'all have been fantastic. We have over 300 comments in here tonight.
Jeez.
Can y'all believe that? That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Amazing.
So good. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I'll always take care of you. Hey, little bear bear.
You gonna be a good boy?
Don't worry, darling, about the rest of our lives.
From this day
Through thick and thin,
Come on, bear.
I'll be there by your side.
I'm gonna love you forever.
Hey there.
I'll be there. You don't have to worry.
All right.
Forgive my clicker.
It's those little crab claws
I'm
getting to
telling
you.
you, some crab claws. Go ahead.
So Cody is the one that found our high school spotlight this week. The only thing I know about it is that he is coached by Philip Rivers. Going by his name, I'm guessing that might be Philip's son.
He is the seed of Philip Rivers as well.
So I'll let you take it away and you highlight what he did.
Yeah, he's a freshman in high school playing varsity football, playing at the same high school. Actually, let's draw on a blank on who. There was someone big that's played at the high school, but either way, his dad is a coach there. As you see, 1,164 yards passing in 4 games. That's obviously amazing. Third among freshmen nationally. 13 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions in 4 games, not necessarily a great thing, but for a freshman in high school to be doing that at the varsity level, that's beyond impressive. Mm-hmm. So you had Philip Rivers, then you had his brother who played at LSU and Vanderbilt, and then now you got his son coming up. So I guess, because I think Philip, he's got I'm not even joking when I say 12 kids.
Mm-hmm.
He
He does. He's got a bunch.
TJ says 27.
Yeah, I mean he's got a ton of kids, so I'm assuming this is just like the first of many to go into sports. So I wish the kid the best of luck, and he's an Alabama kid, so I'll definitely be able to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Rivers, 27 kids. Yeah, he's got a ton. That's phenomenal. To be a freshman quarterback, I mean, I know your dad used to be a pro quarterback, so, I mean, you should be able to learn something. But to be a freshman quarterback, and where is St. Michael Catholic? Is that in Texas?
Alabama.
No,
Alabama? Oh.
Yes, South Alabama.
Oh.
Well,
okay.
He does have the former NFL quarterback as a dad and as a coach.
Yeah.
But make no mistake, his uncle was not very good,
Mm-hmm.
to say the least.
He tried.
LSU brought him in. He didn't work out there. They sent him to Nashville, and he may be one of the statistical worst quarterbacks to ever play in the SEC.
Yeah,
it's true. How he won starting jobs, I'll never understand.
Well, the only reason he started at Vanderbilt is because the 3 guys over him were injured.
Yeah.
Man, good point.
So there you have it. Gunnar Rivers is our high school athlete spotlight of the week. I always love those because it always highlights some amazing feat that, kids do. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. All right, let's do real quick. Let's get into our awards, and I think we saved the best for last, gentlemen. I really do. Do we want to do? No, you know what? Let's do the boot first because the jock kind of goes with it. No, you want to do jock first?
We're going to do the Jockstrap first.
All right. I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and throw this up here. Here is the Dirty Jockstrap Award of the Week. Drum roll, please. Bing. Chris, explain this.
Since I was the one that nominated the fans, let me give you my reasoning. It is not okay, I don't care who you're a fan of, to publicly post the phone numbers of players or their families, especially their parents.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the Colorado State football game, Mr. Blackman's parents were already getting hate messages and text from fans and phone calls. And he was already getting death threats. They've got the FBI looking in on all this. Somebody needs to be charged that was doing that mess, and it's never okay. If you're that tied up to a football game that you have to send a death threat to a player, you need to get a reality check. Probably go to rehab and get off your gambling addiction or whatever's got you so strung out that think you have a right to send a death threat.
Right.
Just get out of here. We don't want you as a fan.
I agree.
So that's where it comes. That's where I get the nomination. Fans that were sending death threats, you get the dirty jockstrap. And I hope it's a jockstrap that's been worn the entire season and has not been washed. It has an entire season full of sweat and butt crack juice wrapped up in that thing. Because you suck as a fan.
Oh man, I agree. I agree. It goes hand in hand. You just don't do personal attacks to players or coaches. Period. You just don't do it. There's just no, in my mind, there's just no day and age, any time that is appropriate at all.
Well, except to Les Miles, that dude sucked.
I mean, Sarah says, "Excuse me while I go throw up." Yeah, for real. She didn't like Les Miles either. All right, well let's do. It goes right hand in hand in this, and I think this is a phenomenal nomination for the Golden Boot. This week's Golden Boot is Chris,
Mr. Travis Hunter, and Coach Prime.
Yes,
and it goes hand in hand with the Dirty Jock because there was a situation that arose. There was a play that was made. A lot of people called it dirty. And people can say what they want to about it. Was it dirty? Yeah, it depends how you look at it.
Uh-huh.
But this guy made a hit less than 1 second. And matter of fact, when you look at the clock, it happened in the same second that the ball hit the ground.
Yeah.
He
It was a
came
very
all,
bang play. Yeah.
all the way across the field to make a defensive play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's the kid supposed to do? You can't stop on a dime.
Mm-hmm.
What made it look bad is when he stood over the guy and taunted him afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when they were asked about it on Monday, they could have gone in a far different direction. They could have piled on this kid and said, yes, he's dirty, he should be suspended, whatever.
Yeah.
To their credit, and I will pump them up all day long for this.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter said he did his job and made a play. Coach Prime went the same route and said, we're over it. We forgive him. The team forgives him. Travis forgives him. Move on.
Mm.
And it's a class act to handle it that way because they certainly could have gone the other direction with it.
Mm-hmm.
And props to them for not going that route. And for the media to even ask him about it, just shut up.
I know. It's that fuel that tension, because I'm telling you, it could have went a lot worse. There could have been. I'm surprised there wasn't a whole lot of racist comments that were thrown out for it.
There were.
Yeah, well, there were, but I'm talking about on the other side of for Prime and Hunter to take that stance and say, hey, here's the deal. It was a play. That's what it is. Kudos to them, because they could have took what the fans were chirping on this side and the fans chirping on this side and just ate it up and turned it into an inferno, and they didn't. So,
dude, I'm definitely clipping that image of you doing this, and I'm going to put Mr. Krabs' head on you.
God, of course you are. Why do I do this to myself? God, I guess that's what happens when one of your best friends is a phenomenal graphic designer. You just have to deal with it. All right. Well, I absolutely had a blast tonight. 343 comments in this chat. I mean, can you believe that, y'all?
Killing it.
Just nuts. Y'all are just MVPs to every single person that watches this show. I know we ran a little long tonight, but I'm telling you, it has been a phenomenal show. I don't have anything else. Final thoughts, gentlemen? Anybody else?
I got to give a shout out to Missouri's kicker for sure.
Yes.
Dude, kicking a 62-yarder to beat Kansas State. That's huge.
Yep.
I expect a good weekend of football for sure. And I want to say that I think the Heisman race is going to start lining itself up this week.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few names that aren't necessarily mentioned that could get themselves on that list. And I think Notre Dame's running back's one of those guys. Now, obviously, if it's a bad game, then this conversation never happened. But, I think
there's one guy that was in the top 5 last year in the Heisman voting that missed the last 2 or 3 games of the season.
Yeah.
That isn't even mentioned in any top 10 list right now.
Yeah.
And he's already ahead of last year's pace. That got him up there, and that's Blake Corum.
Yeah, but it's kind of the thing that Michigan's been so quiet this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen anybody talk Michigan this year. It's
Nobody.
weird.
It's very strange. I agree.
Yeah, for Corum, I think him really jumping on that list will come in the next few weeks when they really start their competition really amps up. Because they do have a pretty hard schedule to, for the rest of the year. But just the opening few weeks. I didn't hear anything about Michigan, and it was weird.
Really weird. Like I said, he was top 5 in the Heisman voting last year, and he's not on any list right now.
Yeah,
and he's ahead of last year's pace.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
It's going to be interesting to see where he plays out. But Looking for a great weekend of football. Unfortunately,
Yep.
I got to work tomorrow. I'm going to miss about half a day of football. So, you know.
We'll keep.
Well, as long as you can get home for the Oregon State-Washington State game, I think that's all that matters because that's definitely the
I
game.
think that's going to be a fun game to watch.
It is
I
be
do
a fun
too.
game. Mm-hmm. I do too. All right. Well, that being said, we will catch you same bat channel, same bat time. I don't care if that's coined phrase or whatever. But we will see you next time. Take care, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Wait a second.
Oh no! What?
Wait a second.
Oh gosh.
I have something to show you.
Oh gosh.
End your show. Ready?
No. Oh my goodness. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Hunter Dorsky. Oh my gosh. Well, I am so glad that 7 people got to see that tonight. That's great. Oh man. Okay, now
we see what he's been hard at all day.
Oh yes. This is for Tim Bailey.
That's great. That's so great. Oh, Jesus.
Damn.
Oh gosh.
What's up, guys?
You just had to. No, nothing much. That's a great way to end the show there.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. Me and Colin worked really hard on this. It was a really tough effort.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
I will say it was impeccable timing. It really was. It was impeccable timing.
Well, I just wanted to tell you guys before you jumped off, but your show had amazing views tonight. It was I think it was probably one of our top shows this week.
Awesome.
That's what we strive for.
Really good job. I was watching as I was driving all over LA. You guys are doing a really, really good job.
I'm trying.
College baseball dogs is coming.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yep.
We're excited for that. And Chris, where's your cat? She's sleeping now?
That spoon that I held up earlier, it went flying,
You
and
did
the cat
not.
hadn't. Yes, I did throw the spoon at the cat.
So let me ask you a question.
PETA.
So you were talking about the Michigan State player having, putting them back in the game because he's got a concussion. Now, what if you gave the cat the concussion? You haven't ran over there and try and take the cat to the veterinarian hospital to get X-rays or anything, right?
Well, I made sure I didn't.
Standard there, right?
I made sure I didn't hit the cat. I just threw it towards the cat to scare the living crap out of her.
Oh, very good. Well,
we don't want PETA called on us. Chill out over there.
No, PETA. But I was really disappointed in Cody's pick. He went from Ohio State now to Notre Dame. Here's the Cody. I'm sure you guys were on your show. Did you guys watch the end of the NC State Virginia game?
We were talking about it.
So what does that tell you about Notre Dame? Notre Dame had an awful time getting rid of NC State for three of the 4 quarters in that game.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yep.
So I think, let me tell you, if you're a Notre Dame fan, I can't believe you guys still have 7 people on watching.
I know. It's amazing.
This is all Notre Dame fans have to see tomorrow. DMD, and that's all that matters. Watch a show tomorrow morning. And tomorrow night, I think all you guys are going to be on tomorrow. Cody, you're going to be on tomorrow night, the post game show.
Possibly.
I know you two are always on the post game show, right? You two.
I'll do the post game.
You got to ask the boss. Sarah's the boss, but we'll see.
Sarah, my cigar is primed, and tomorrow night I may be a little tipsy because I'll be drinking some Irish whiskey, and I'll add a little bit of those Irish tears in the whiskey, and that may be, oh boy! But go ahead, end your show.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it, everybody, for watching. It's been awesome. We're just so blessed to have all y'all on here. But we will see you next time. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go Hogs!
Showtime.